All right, we're on. Yeah, to let the whole intro go. Now let's see. Let me change something here. Here we are. Okay. Okay, that looks better. We can see you. We can see you. Okay, well, hi everybody. Hello, listeners and viewers. Go ahead and speak if I can hear you. Phyllis, go ahead and say something. Perfect. It does. Okay. All right. So, guys, we are here with Phyllis Frankpon. Did I say it right? She is the nurse coach, fibroid queen. She's a speaker, a registered nurse, fibroid awareness advocate, fitness yoga coach. And she's one of the 80% of women affected with fibroids. And she's using a mindset approach to wellness with a proven system that combines yoga, fitness, nutrition. She's able to achieve ultimate symptom management. Phyllis is on a mission to help millions of women and their suffering with uterine fibroid through womb wellness programs and sisterhood communities with holistic resources that can help support women to optimal womb health. So welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for just opening up your platform to talk about this. From this.
Yes. Well, this is a topic that that is very, I would say, a bit touchy, because it gets to, the most private part of us, and so we don't want to talk about it. And 80%, you said 80% of women go through it at some point, but we just don't necessarily share with each other. And actually, a friend of mine shared, her journey. And I thought, well, it's probably time to to find somebody, to have somebody on. It was one of the topics that I wanted to talk about, but I felt like, sometimes you get signs of, it is time to talk about, approach a topic. And so this is where we are. And I was so glad to find you on Clubhouse. You will have to tell us everything, how to contact you towards the end. But I found you on Clubhouse, and seeing what you do and the exercises and so on, and the energy that you bring, it makes the topic, it just makes things a little bit easier. So welcome. I am glad that you accepted the invitation.
Thank you so much, Delian. I really appreciate it. And, my journey has been something I've been able to turn the pain into now my passion. And knowing that so many women are dealing with it, and really looking at uterine fibroids as something horrible, just with what it comes with, and really changing the narrative and our focus to what is the root problem. And I would like to just go and start with how my journey began.
Yes.
Years ago, at a young age, watching my mom go through the pain and suffering with uterine fibroids. Um, my understanding is that she did not know exactly what uterine fibroids were. She just from what I remember, she was in a lot of pain, had the heavy cycles, the pain associated with it, and was told by her doctor to get a partial hysterectomy. And me asking her, what's going on? What are fibroids? And she kind of brushed me off. And it could be a cultural thing of not wanting to talk about it, like many of us women don't want to, but also as far as being unaware of what it really is. So leaving that experience, fast forward years later, I was in my first year of nursing school, and I may have learned a couple things and been able to connect the dots and remember my mom's experience. And I asked the doctor for an ultrasound because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have uterine fibroids. And looking back, I really feel that was my intuition talking to me. And I feel as women, we kind of lose that. We're not given a blueprint of how to be a woman in this society. We're just kind of, if we're told anything in school or what our caretakers tell us, they're just going to tell us what they know. And sometimes that's not the best. So knowing what I knew and the results coming back that I had a quarter-sized fibroid was like, wow, what if I never spoke up for myself? Even though the doctor gave me a hard time about getting an ultrasound, but I persisted and knew that something was not right with what we are raised to believe, that heavy cycles, bloating, not limited to, pain and urinary frequency is normal. It's not. We should be celebrating when we are on our cycle. It should be something nice. It should be such a divine moment of the month, but it's filled with horror and hate and just referring to what I used to do, the fibroids as monsters and this and that. And it's really when it's coupled with a symptom that puts us in a dark place. So just for the record, for those that are new to what uterine fibroids are, they are non-cancerous masses, tumors, again, so non-cancerous, and they form like tumors in and or around the uterus. And
Mhm.
it's really crazy because up to 80% of women will get fibroids. I believe the number is higher.
Yeah.
So to say that women may have fibroid lesions on their uterus, but they may not even know it, right? Or
Mhm.
it may not be triggered. So,
Mhm.
um, so knowing that up to 20% of, actually up to 40% of women will have the symptoms. Actually, it's 20 to 40% will have the symptoms, and but it's such a high number of those that would get it, right?
Mhm.
So there's definitely a disconnection there, and learning my options when I was diagnosed that, you know what, there was nothing that really strung a bell with the doctor, and I was told to just monitor it.
Mhm.
So that cortisol fibroid, I was just told to monitor it. So reflecting back, I wish I would have taken a little bit more action. And it's like, what would I have done? Well, knowing that lifestyle, our environment, our emotions all play a huge role in how our body behaves, how our cells act.
Mhm.
Um, I would have done some things differently. So, but that's what I did. I monitored it, went back to doing the same thing I was doing in life, stressed out, trying to pass nursing school, eating
Mhm.
fast food every day,
Mhm.
just unawareness. And
Right.
I'm sure you can relate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And years later, I, well, once I graduated, I gained about 30 pounds through
Mhm.
all the stress and just lack of self care, that I was told I had high cholesterol in my 20s. So that threw me off because I was like, I am not taking
It's
any
not possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I kind of put the fibroids on the back burner. I was like, oh, this cholesterol? Oh, no, I'm not taking any cholesterol medication. So um, I ended up joining a gym and started working out. I met a bodybuilding coach. And I really, just look back at that experience on how that was like a game changer in my
Mhm.
life of being able to meet someone, a coach to help me transform my body into something I never imagined. Right. So I was able not only to drop the weight, but also
Mhm.
win a couple of fitness shows where I felt so powerful. Like I've never felt like that before.
Right, right.
So I just continued to compete. And then along the way, I developed a passion for that I started to think about training others. And I became a personal trainer at that point.
Mhm.
And becoming a personal trainer, competing, working as a nurse, night shift, that was no longer fun anymore.
That's a lot.
That's
Sounds like a lot just saying it.
that's a lot. And we as women sometimes, at
You
least for
take
me,
on, right?
yeah, we're ready to take on. We're, trying to be everywhere, do everything, help everyone. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah,
possible.
it's
And
not.
I had to learn the hard way. So um, I stopped competing as that world of body image and having to look a certain way on stage, being compared, was
Mm-hmm.
becoming unhealthy, um,
Yeah.
more so emotionally. I didn't know how to take it in. I
Right.
wasn't ready
That
for that.
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So I left that world, and I kind of felt like I lost something. Like you feel like your job sometimes, things that you do give you a purpose, right? And then
Mhm.
once that's gone, it's like, oh, what do I do now? Even though I was
Right.
with others, I still was like, I feel like
Well,
I need.
there was something about you, about your body, your mind, your body that just felt like you belonged in that environment. And so when you removed yourself, it's just like a part of you was no longer there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. You hit it. So I ended up leaving that, and there were some emotions maybe from that, and emotions that I probably haven't dealt with
Mhm.
years ago in life.
Right, right.
I kind of came to a place where, you know what, I felt like I needed to have or be in a relationship to fill that void that I was lacking. And I
Mhm.
jumped into a relationship, and
Mhm.
with a gentleman that lived in another state. That did not work out. It added more stress.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I just felt at the time he was not giving me what I was needing. And I was thinking I was not filling my own cup, right?
Mhm.
So I got it out. I got out of that relationship, and belly on, ladies. This is where I connected the dots, right? I went out with some friends,
Mhm.
and we took a picture. And then I looked at the picture because I was about to post it. I'm like, wait a minute. Look at my belly.
Mhm.
Looks like I'm pregnant, right?
Right, right.
So that is when I had to really look at myself and say,
Mhm.
there's something going on. There's something not happening. There's something happening that should not be happening, right?
Right, right.
Um, so I went back to the doctor and got another ultrasound and found out
Mhm.
that that quarter size fibroid,
Mhm.
four of them, and the largest one almost 9 centimeters.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finding that out, I immediately was taken back. Uh,
Mhm.
Not only was it just said to me so quick, I couldn't even digest the information, but the time lapse from that and then going into options, surgery, this, that, I didn't know what to do. I just felt
Mhm.
so overwhelmed. I immediately burst into tears. I was like, oh my God, my body failed me, right? And I left that doctor's office and I never went back.
Mhm.
Um, I was in a dark place. I really took that as like a death sentence. Even though
You didn't go back because you felt there was nothing that could be done, or it was just too much.
a combination of both.
Mhm.
I felt like I knew fibroids at that time was something that um, that could be chronic, right?
Mhm.
Where um, you can get the fibroids removed, whether it be surgically or a procedure or taking medication, but it does not provide a solution. So there is
Mhm.
opportunity for the new growth of fibroids.
Right, right.
There is opportunity for other things to manifest if you take out your uterus. So
Mhm.
I just knew that back then, but
Mhm.
um, I just knew that those options were not for me.
Not what you wanted. Mhm.
That's just for me personally. I do have clients that, but for me, that wasn't for me. So knowing that I had to figure out something. I had to come out of this dark place somehow. I don't know how. It was just something divine beyond me that kind of woke me up and said, you know what? Get your mind right. Get your
Mhm.
mind right, Phyllis, right?
Mhm.
So what I started doing is looking up and researching about ways that I can empower my thought process because I was thinking the worst as any other woman would do. And I needed to get out of that mindset. I knew that much. And I started to listen to people like Jewel Pookrum, Queen Afua, and Joe Dispenza, and really become
Mhm.
empowered about how we have more power um, over our bodies than what we believe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That is, I have to say, and just to, I have to say that for me, that was one of the this journey, realizing that yes, we have more power than we know, than we think and that we know. And all of those chronic diseases and everything, there is so much more, so many options, out there that we just don't know about, and things that we can do just ourselves, right?
Right. Exactly. That's so key, Delian. And knowing that there is levels to what we think and how our reality can shape um, what we think. So, I
Mhm.
mean, our environment can shape our reality, right?
Mhm.
So, knowing that and learning that, I started to really think outside the box and really
Mhm.
look at the situation as just a wake up call. And I would
Right.
tell women that are listening to this that knowing that up to 80% of women, which I think is higher, I believe that all women will, almost all women
Mhm.
will get uterine fibroids, but
Mhm.
it may not be triggered. So just to say,
Right.
you may be carrying, you may have it. It may be a family history, but depending on your situation, it could be triggered. So
Mhm.
if you think about how it can be triggered, so it's different for every woman, but yet our standard treatment is the same for most women, right? And that's where I had to come in. So after getting empowered, right, I started to really birth new ideas. I started to birth confidence. My womb, like, literally woke up. Like, and the thing is, we as women are natural born healers, but a lot of us are not aware of that.
Mhm.
So the womb or the uterus is the seat of our intuition and power. So when that is in harmony,
Mhm.
we are just able to do a lot of things that society, our upbringing, tells us that we can't, right?
Mhm.
So having to unravel some of the old beliefs, unravel what society views women as, unravel that we don't have to lose our uterus,
Mhm.
unravel that our uterus is there for a reason.
Mhm.
Really changing the narrative that
Right.
inspired me to literally change the way I started eating, change the way I started thinking and moving. So my workouts became more intentional. I was not focused on the reps, but the breaths, like breathing.
Right.
I started to really hone in on the center of my body when I'm working out. It doesn't require vigorous training. It doesn't require jump squats all the time. You know?
That's why we think, yes, we think we have to work out so hard to get results, right?
Yes, yes. But just being intentional and
Mhm.
really connecting the mind and body through the breath. And that's what I finally did when I saw a picture of myself. Like, I was just so disconnected. So
Right.
being able to create what I call womb wellness workouts,
Mhm.
also really change my way of eating, where I'm
Mhm.
sticking with foods that are more anti-inflammatory, lessen lessen the sugar, and also the hormones that come with most foods, right? And really figuring out that I don't really fit into a diet. I have to really make my own way of eating. And personalized nutrition, I feel, for those dealing with hormonal conditions like
Mhm.
fibroids, rheumatoid arthritis, we can really benefit from this support of helping, of the support of getting our own way of eating by writing things out, journaling, um,
Mhm.
tracking. And that's what I do now with women as a functional practitioner, is develop their own way of eating. And then last is the mindset coaching. So that three-step approach was what I developed. It's like a blueprint regimen to me getting the results of eliminating about 80% of my symptoms. Also, a 1 4 centimeter tumor degenerated that happened 2 years ago, as
Mhm.
well as cycles, heavy cycles going down to 2, 3 days, and I'm in the best mood ever. I mean, I remember being debilitated in bed, can't move because of horrible cramps. But going from that to where I am now, I never imagined. But
And they and so you're saying, you did this approach, and we'll talk about it some more. So with this approach, then your fibroids were gone, or they shrank, or what happened?
yeah, so about a year of remaining consistent with this approach,
Mhm.
I had a degeneration of a tumor. So what that means is the blood supply was cut off to that fibroid, and it
Mhm.
degenerated.
So it
So,
doesn't grow, right?
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So on the
Nice.
ultrasound, it may appear like it's calcified. So it's no longer being, it's no longer thriving. It's no longer being fed. It's just
Mhm.
like a scar, right?
Mhm.
So that
Nice.
happened about a year after doing this. And then, as well as my symptoms dramatically started to change and improve.
Mhm.
And also, I've been able to really reclaim a lot of my femininity. I feel like I was just energetically in a masculine type of role, thinking I had to do everything, you know,
Mhm.
be this, do this, and really not releasing how I felt. I wasn't talking about my feelings. I wasn't expressing myself. I just
Right.
held everything in. And
Mhm.
um, the emotional aspect that comes with
Yeah.
uterine fibroids is real. That
That's
is a huge component of it. Yeah.
That's very true. So let's talk a little bit. So I want to let the viewers understand. So you said what the fibroids are, this non-tumor mass. But do we even know how they come about? Because sometimes you have a diagnosis and you say, well, how come? What did I do? How did this happen? So do we even know how they show up?
Yeah. According to research, there's certain risk factors like,
Mhm.
melanated women, obesity, family history, lack of sedentary lifestyle. So all of that stuff. But I feel like it's a little bit beyond that. I really feel that it does genetically, it does play a role. Like my mom
Mhm.
had it and I have it. My sister
Mhm.
doesn't. But I
Mhm.
feel even though it's past, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have it unless it's triggered. And how is it
Right.
triggered? Every woman is different. So it could be the environment, it could be the stress, it could be a death of a loved one. You haven't been able to resolve it. It could be emotional dis-ease. It
Mhm.
could be the food that you're eating, but it's not just one thing. There is a collective amount of things that causes the body to be in inflammation mode. And
Mhm.
after so long of being in inflammation mode, it does affect our hormones. Also, it will affect the way that our cells act and behave. So, with our cells not having all the moving parts because of dysfunction, because of a chaotic environment internally, it can cause the cells to mutate in a way that's not really healthy.
I
And
see.
those mutations, over time become preclinical fibroids. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the makeup of it. And every fibroid is made differently. There's a certain
Mhm.
amount of components that make up a fibroid. So if every fibroid is made up differently, that's even in each woman, right? So
Right. Oh,
if
I
you,
didn't know that.
yeah, if you have 3 fibroids, they may not be all made up the same. They could be
Mhm.
different. So knowing that aspect of it, how environment, how thought process, how
Mhm.
energetically, right? Like
Right.
clusters, like I feel like sometimes you're born into um, a time or a place where things have been passed on to you, but they haven't been released, right?
Right. Mhm.
So I do feel like there is an energetic component when it comes to the cause of uterine fibroids, but
Yeah.
it's a collective amount of things. So for so long being in this chaotic environment, um,
Mhm.
so many stabs, so many triggers, then
Mhm.
it can birth
So,
fibroids. Yeah.
hmm. Interesting, interesting. So that was something that I was curious about. And you see, it sounds like, you hear when people do talk about it, I have fibroids. It's like, well, how come? And that's always, I like to know, well, how does it happen? And like you said, there may be a hereditary factor, but it doesn't have to be the gene or whatever gene component. It doesn't have to be expressed. It doesn't have to actually happen. It doesn't have to actually manifest. But then your environment and the mindset and all the diet and all those things, come into play, the stress and all of that. That's interesting. So let's talk about, because you touched on your experience, right? With your experience, you went to the doctor, after seeing yourself and saying there has to be something going on in there. And there was, and then of course, like doctors usually do, because I think sometimes when you see something, and I noticed that with me too. I'm not a gynecologist, I'm an audiologist, but I do a certain job that is very routine. And sometimes when people tell me something or I tell them something, it's the same thing that I told the other person, right? And it gets to where sometimes when in certain days I'm just not connecting, and so it's personal to them, but I'm saying the same thing I just said 10 minutes ago, and so I'm just repeating it, and I'm kind of in the routine. And so doctors, sometimes when you see something, you've seen it so many times, you said the same thing so many times, you know what the approach, you know what to do, at least in your world. And so you just go on to, okay, ma'am, when you have fibroids, they're this size, and so this is what you can do. You can choose option A, option B, option C. But you're sitting there with the shock of the news, right? Right. So what were the options, what are the options out there, from the conventional, if we can say conventional Western medical approach of things?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I love how you summarize that. So, and you had A, B, and C. Well, some women are only given A, right? And
Ah,
some women
okay.
are only given A and B, right? So
Mhm.
we are having more talks. There's more of this information fluctuating, but we've came from a pattern of just removing the uterus. If there's any sign of fibroids, if there's any sign of womb dysfunction, oh, just get rid of it. It's very easy to say that, especially when the woman is unaware that there's other options. The woman is unaware that her uterus is not a disposable organ. She's unaware that it's not just for reproduction. There's other things that happen. That's why we're born with it.
Mhm.
So I would say there's, I think the number was like two. It was a big number that of the amount of hysterectomy, which is the removal of the uterus that is done in
Mhm.
the U.S. is
Right.
outrageous. It's outrageous. It's not even. It's just not necessary. And the
Mhm.
risk of women having cervical cancer or any type of cancer is very low, and it's really unfortunate that that has been the first option is to get rid of your uterus, the hysterectomy.
Right.
It doesn't need to be. So I was told that surgery or drugs. So
Okay.
drugs is usually birth control, which I think is,
Mhm.
for me, it was just not the thing to do. Having a drug take over my already dysfunctional reproductive,
Almost.
it's not going to help me, right?
Mhm.
And also just what comes with birth control. Some women benefit from it. Some women, most women I know don't. It just
Mhm.
comes with a lot of um, irregulating well, the regulation of the hormones can be even more chaotic once the birth control has been once you're no longer taking it. And then there's surgery. So hysterectomy, removal of the uterus, or the standard procedure is a myomectomy, where they surgically cut and go in and actually cut the fibroids off the uterus, so remove them off. Um,
Mhm.
and so these are kind of what our the main solutions are. And that's what I was told back then. This was 12 years ago, right? Um, and none of those options worked for me. Like it just didn't resonate with me. These days, there's a lot more options. We have UFE, we have Accessa. So there's minimally invasive procedures now that does not require surgery.
That's
So,
surgery. Is that with lasers or what do they?
yeah, so uterine fibroid embolization is where they go through like a major. They go through whether it be like you're through the wrist or there's an artery between near the groin area where there's
Mhm.
a little tiny tube that kind of threads through and finds the blood supply that are making the fibroids thrive. And they usually insert some pellets, like little pellets,
Okay.
to block the blood flow.
Okay.
And eventually, over time, the fibroid degenerates. It may
Mhm.
not eliminate, but it will, the components of it will change.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
one of the things that I had to learn is that the size of fibroids, usually they consider the size of the uterus as well. That's kind of sometimes they may include that in the measurement. So, keeping in mind that, sometimes ultrasounds are not really accurate and, going with an MRI can be a little bit more as far as accuracy. But also, if they do go in, it may be a whole different story. So, women, making sure that you have an understanding of what you're doing when it comes to these
Right.
procedures and surgeries. But we have more options these days where hysterectomy does not have to be number one, but it still is.
It still
And
is, which is so interesting to me, because if there are ways to save the uterus, why not? You know, but it seems, I guess, because it's quicker. I don't know, quicker, more effective. You just get rid of it, and you never have to worry about that issue. You never have to worry about that issue again. Doesn't mean that you don't have to worry about other things. So
exactly.
let's talk about the uterus, because like you said, a lot of women, if they already have had children, or they're past the childbearing age, if you in your 40s and you have fibroids, well, I might as well just remove my uterus. It doesn't, because I'm not going to have children at this point. Let's say I'm not in a relationship, or I am but I don't want, or I'm older, so it just seems like, well, menopause is at the door, I might as well just remove the whole thing, right? Or I already had children, I don't want anymore, so I might as well just take it out. But what is the importance? What is the uterus doing for us? You touched on it a little bit, but let's remind the viewers about that, and then just elaborate a bit on that. What is it? What is it good for besides bearing children?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny you brought that up, and I'm glad you did. But again, most of us growing up feeling very disconnected to our womanly parts, especially the uterus. And unfortunately, I personally feel that it's if you're not able to think beyond that and really become aware, we just kind of go through life like that, where the cycle, the things that comes with being a woman is often disliked, and we are, it really sets us up to hate our bodies, hate ourselves, take it out, it's a monster, remove it. And the thing is, fibroids are not the problem. They are just a illusion of what is going
A
on in the
symptom,
body.
right?
Yeah. So the chaos that you cannot see is what's going on causing these fibroids. And that's why there is no cure, right? That's why there is no, ideal solution these days. But the function of the uterus is a powerhouse to our femininity. It really controls our hormonal system. It plays a huge factor sexually for most women. even orgasms, there is some work being done by the uterus as far as
Mhm.
ability and just the overall feeling in general. Um,
Mhm.
and it is a storehouse for our emotions. It gives us our intuition, as women. We just know things and it helps us in that.
And now creativity too. I think I heard somebody said it's kind of, the womb or for the men, that area also creativity. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it is in line with the earth. It's in line with the earth. And we've lost that dialogue. And
Mhm.
that's why this dysfunction is going on. We are not in tune with our womb. The thing is, Zelion, we're more in tune, we had more harmony with our bodies. Uh,
Mhm.
there would be no room for dysfunction. There would be no
That's true.
yes. But we are just kind of thrown into society. Our hormones are affected by the plastic bottles we may be using, by the toxins, the skin products we're putting on our skin. Our
Mhm.
bodies are so vulnerable to all of that stuff
Right.
that it
Right.
affects the reproductive system. So everything happens there, and we are sensitive to all of that. So
Cleaning products too. Cleaning products and laundry detergent and all of that.
yeah, so all of that together creates issues where we're having these problems with our cycles, symptoms, and what we get from society adds on to the problem, gets us further away from our feminine divinity, our um, our dialogue of our bodies, the awareness. Um,
Mhm.
and it just pulls us where we think that, oh, I don't need it. It's not doing anything for me. And
Right.
there are risks, for most when it comes
Mhm.
to whatever direction you decide to do in regard,
Mhm.
when it comes, like, for example, hysterectomy. For some women, that seems like an ideal option for you, right? You made an informed decision that works for you. But for most women, it's not necessary. And removing the uterus, you think about the function of what it does. It
Mhm.
regulates the hormones. It kind of stabilizes our different components of our other organs. It has a role, it has a job, right?
Mhm.
So once you remove that, who's going to take on that job? Your
The
heart.
medication, you have to take medications, right?
Exactly. You take medication, your heart. And that's why some women are at more risk for heart disease after getting their uterus removed.
Ah,
Or even
okay, okay.
if you get the ovaries as well, it just depends. But
Mhm.
also, osteoporosis, because your estrogen
Mhm.
go into, you know, default menopause over time.
Yeah.
Sure. And there's a lot of risk that come with it, even organ prolapse. So things that we may not think about when it comes to
Mhm.
taking it out. So I say all this to say this. Everyone has a different situation, but make sure it's an informed one for you. And
Right.
just
Yes.
do something, just do it. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it has to be an informed decision from not just from sometimes not one doctor, but second opinion, but also the reading, the research,
Mm,
and understanding. Like you said, removing that one organ, it affects the other organs. It affects your hormones. Affects your blood flow. It affects your mood and all of those things are affected. When the organ is has illness or when you no longer have it, okay, because it's there for a reason. It's
right.
there for a reason. So let's talk about what you do and
Mm,
the options that we have, because even then, like you said, you have some clients who decide, okay, I'm going to do, you have different options of surgeries, I'm going to do it. And some would say, well, once like we said, we remove the uterus, so we put the palate, so we cut the fibroid, then that's it, okay, now I'm fibroids free, and that's it. But there's a certain work that still needs to be done. Or other women will say, well, okay, I like you, I don't really feel like those things are really options for me. It doesn't seem like there are other options. But you are here, and you can present to us, other options. So
Yeah,
just tell us, what you do, and the three state, the three parts of your program and all of that I can help with, man.
yeah. So pretty much in a nutshell, I empower and coach women on how to eat, think, and move to prevent
Mhm.
and or manage uterine fibroids to live their best mindfully.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
what that entails is womb wellness programs with a three-step approach: intentional movements through womb wellness
Mhm.
workouts, a nutrition program, whether it be getting a grocery list along with building your way of eating, your own diet,
Mhm.
and then last is coaching calls with my herbalists and other people that I partner with to be able to have more of a team approach to helping these.
Nice.
Yeah. So I say what I do is not really an option. Um, it's a necessity in regards to building a personalized lifestyle regimen because the current treatments out there they can help, but they're not solutions.
Mm-hmm. That's
It does
true.
not prevent the new growth of fibroids. It also does not prevent your situation from manifesting into something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that this regimen of having something personalized for you is a foundation to help you prevent and manage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a more dance with your body, right? Where you are, okay, um, is the goal. So I help these women work with their doctors. We're not working against the doctors, we're working with the doctors, right? There is a place for
That's,
Western
and
medicine.
that's key. That's key. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think that's so key because a lot of time, when people have a diagnosis, right? And even like cancer and other things, and we say, well, you have this alternative route, and you say, well, you always have a friend that tells you change your diet and things like that, and you feel like, well, I'm going to listen to my doctor, and my doctor said I need to take this pill, and therefore I don't need to change my diet, right? Or I'm not going to listen to my doctor. I'm only going to listen, and I'm only going to detox, for example. But there is this approach where you can, merge the two, work together and actually get a more optimal type of result, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. For some people, it is. For some people, I don't want this, I want that, or my body doesn't respond to that, I need this. Okay, but there is, for most of us, we can kind of integrate,
Yeah,
integrity, like you said, we can integrate the two and really see a bigger difference and a more lasting difference. Yeah.
just like you said it beautifully, integrative functional approach to
Mhm.
managing and preventing uterine fibroids is the new way. And the thing is, we are the research. There is
Mhm.
no time to wait until this is tested on male rats or in a controlled environment to determine whether
Mhm.
lifestyle changes work. They do. I'm a living
Right.
testament of it. I have
Yeah. Yeah.
as well. So being able to be proactive and take this integrative approach where we work with your doctor and we're like helping the women follow up in between these doctor's appointments so that we help connect the dots. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things missed when it comes to hormonal conditions. And a lot of things that the doctors don't really focus on, like you said earlier. We just focus on this and that, but not really the hormones, not really the story of this woman. She's been through years of being on antibiotics. She's had um, food poisoning. So her body chemistry is different. So, treating her the same as the last 10 women may not be effective for her. And then some of these women are getting on medications, having these surgeries, but still having problems. And a lot of it is rooted from the gut. Gut,
Mhm.
our digestive, whatever we're eating, may not be resonating with our bodies. And
Mhm.
we need like a health investigator, and that's what I do. A health investigator kind of see, listen to me, listen to my story. help me figure out why I'm still bloated. I got the fibroids removed. Why am I still bloated? Why
Mhm.
am my period so heavy? And we have women from that want to go natural 100%. We have women that have had surgery. We have women that want procedures. We have women that just want to do a preventative approach. They don't have anything going on, but they just want to prevent. So I want women to know that I'm not exclusive just to one way of doing things. I want to help all women. But the thing is, these personalized lifestyle changes that you would do, they're not an option. They're a necessity. So no matter what decision you choose, changing your lifestyle in a progressive, functional approach can not only, you know, help with or support whatever you choose, but also it can help with the reoccurrence from happening.
Mhm. Right, right. And that's something, when you said that, I was so key that the reoccurrence, we think again, once we remove them, okay, I'm fine, but it doesn't mean that they can't come back because the issues that brought them there in the first place, those issues are not dealt with, or we're not even aware, how they came about, right? We're not even aware of how we got the fibroids in the first place. It's just there. It's just something, oh, well, it's common. And yes, we, melanated, we got more, or, and you just accept that, okay, you have it, right? Um, and Marlene said, "What you have to remove twice, and it's back a third time." Okay, well, we're going to have you talk to Phyllis. Okay, we need to work on that. But
Very
that's the
useful.
thing, Marlene, right? We don't know. Why is making them appear in the first place. And so every time you get one, you go get removed, and then you're still doing similar things, and so it comes back. Or your environment is still the same. Your mindset. I need you to talk about that some. Your mindset is still the same. Your emotions,
Yeah.
are still weighing you down, and then here's another one. So well, talk about. So let's just talk about each part in terms of, okay, let's talk about what the mindset, what do we need to observe, or maybe some key points to work on, and then the food, and then the exercise, which was very intriguing to me because I've been following you on Instagram. I'm like, what is this womb this womb exercise that you're doing? And I realized that we do certain exercises, but there's a key to the posture and it's different stuff. So of course, you can't give us everything because it is personalized, and it is it takes some learning. But can you give us some key points on each aspect?
Yeah, love it. So when it comes to the mindset, what I help women do is really figure out, are they living their true self? Why do you get up in the morning? Do you love the relationship that you're in with your partner? Do you like the job that you're at? Or is this something you're just doing, are you really aware of why you're here? What do you want people to remember you as? So those questions I ask. And for the most part, for them having fibroids, I know there's some disconnection in that area. They may be living a life that they don't want to live, or they may be living because of someone else. This is how they were told to live. They're just
Mhm.
not living to their maximal potential. So that's where the mindset coaching starts, really helping them reclaim their femininity. I have a lot of women in my program that have different roles. They are part of this chamber. They do this over here. They do that over there. And not knowing that they're living, when they go home, they're depressed because, they're not happy. And it's like figuring that out. So that's a lot of the emotional components that I help dive in with clients, is just trying to ask questions, write down different things, and help them unravel some of the things that they've left in the back burner. So that's where the mindset coaching comes in. Um, we also, as a team, help women address different things that happen, like uh, just not understanding, a lot of grief when it comes to their body, and having a sisterhood, experience where they can let it all out, just cry it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't leave an opportunity for that. So that's the coaching aspect, and over time we just build on that, where they are more in tune. Usually, a result of that I see is many women saying that they feel more of themselves. They want to do
Mm-hmm.
things that they never thought they would do. They want to go on this trip finally. They want to get out of the relationship they've been depressed in for so many years. So that's the end result of that progression. Now, when it comes to womb wellness workouts, it is a way to really engage the pelvic floor, an area of the body that's often disregarded when it comes to traditional way of workouts. Also, the traditional way of workouts does not consider your hormonal status, how much you're pooping, how much energy you have, your anemia status, and we do all of that in the womb wellness workouts. So I have these virtual workouts. I have so many women in it. Most of them all have some type of hormonal condition, fibroids or rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid issues. But the thing is, the intention is the same for all of them because we really consider where their body's at right now, right? It's not a standard cookie program where I'm like, okay, just do this. No, we really have to hone in on what challenges they have, knee issues, bloating,
Yeah,
um, trouble breathing, and we need to improve those things. So really emphasizing diaphragmatic breathing as a lot of us in a shallow way, and it really affects our stress response in our body. So
that's true.
these workouts really help um, my clients kind of feel more confident because there's so many options in the workout that everyone benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And we take breaks and we are going by the breath, but not by the time or the reps, but by the breath. And also setting an intention before we start our workout. So over time, this can really open up that pelvic floor. It can help with releasing stagnation in the womb. It can help with the energy and also stimulate the digestive system where you can get some constipation and like bloating relief, just the movements that we do with the breath. So that's that component. And then the last is nutrition. One of the reasons I decided to go pursue to become a functional nutritionist is because of how much a lot of the inflammation in the body is rooted by the digestive system. And we have gut issues that can lead to a lot of candida yeast in the body, as well as leaky gut, and how that can trickle off into the reproductive system and cause issues there. So if you have issues in one system, you also have issues in another system as the whole body works together. But we are in an environment that we treat it fragmented in a just one area at a time in
At
a
the time, right?
fragmented matter versus it being a whole system. So
Mm-hmm.
in the functional nutrition calls, I really help the clients with a foundation of alkaline foods, and we just track how their body responds, where over time they have their own way of eating, their own diet plan, like Delion's diet plan. It's not vegan, it's not, the Whole 30, it's not this. We can't fit into those boxes when you're dealing with a hormonal condition. It's so dynamic. We have to have our own thing, individualized, integrated, functional approach.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, because often we put ourselves in boxes. I guess we'll say I'm plant based, I'm vegan, I'm ovo lacto, I'm this, I'm that, or and to label ourselves, but it's really eating for us, right? Eating, you have to understand what the food does, right?
Right.
Because there are some foods that are acidic, for example, and you have to know what is the goal and what is the intention. Just like the intention of workout, you have the intention of feeding yourself, and so you're not just eating anything because I feel like it or whatever, but there is an aspect of individualized the plants. I like that you have that aspect, because from one person to another, and then we get into like the blood type and the keto and the this and the paleo, and but really, what is it that your body needs? Yeah, yeah. And do you do that with like doing any testing or talking to them? Do you go into their symptoms? How can we know what we need?
Yeah, absolutely. So through our coaching calls, it's a really a team approach. So it's not just me, but they're able to talk to my herbalist. I also consult with the doctor that I partner with as well, where we kind of all kind of do rounds and see, determine the best approach for our women. And also, we do work with the doctor and, go over any questions that they have and let them know, you know what, you may want to ask your doctor for this or do this. So it's a way where we're just following up on what the doctor's recommendations are and kind of following
Right.
that way. Also giving some um, holistic approaches when it comes to herbs under the
Mhm.
you know doctor's discretion. We will suggest herbs for them that are based on their symptoms. And herbs are very medicinal for most people,
Mhm.
where they can restore the body's natural way of working. And that's how a lot of relief of the inflammation that was going on in my body as well. So I think herbs play a huge role, but you got to be on the right herbs and under the right guidance as
Right.
women are just researching different herbs and just taking that. But you
Yeah.
have to know if that's
You have
good.
to know. And that is one of the things with herbs, although it is a natural thing. There is a certain knowledge, certain amount of experience that you need to have with those. So, yeah, yeah. Um, that is, I mean, and we're already to the 1 hour mark, but that is very, very interesting. I think the message today is there are options, and there are more options that you may think, right? When it comes to fibroids, when it comes to chronic disease in general, but when our topic today, when it comes to fibroids, there are options, and there is no, I want to say, there's no shame either. Like you said it several times. We think, well, our uterus is bad or it's toxic, it's not working, and it's kind of, we carry a certain things when we have fibroids and we have cysts and anything that goes on with our private organs. We feel like, you know it's our fault, and there is a certain shame. We almost want to hide, as if others don't know, but we feel like we have to hide. And there is hope. There is hope, and I think that's the message today. Know your options medically, but
Yeah.
also, why not look into a more holistic, functional, integrative approach, like Phyllis, the fibroid queen, is showing us today. And so remind us again of the 3 steps of your program, and then you're going to tell us how we can reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if this resonated with you, you know that you are not living the life that you need. You need that support on what foods resonate with your body. You want to start moving better and more intentionally. Um, I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to hear your story, not your history. That's what your doctor does, but I want to hear more of your story, and you and I can determine a game plan to get you on a personalized lifestyle regimen in support of deciding whatever decision you choose to make as far as food options. But the thing is, making an action, right? Doing something versus nothing. And Fibroid Queen is an affirmation for me. It just is a reminder to treat myself like a queen
Mm-hmm.
unless someone else will. So having fibroids is not a curse or anything like that. It was a wake up call for me because, my body was letting me know that there's something wrong. And we need to know that fibroids are not the problem. It's our um, hormonal imbalance. It's the inflammation. It's our emotions. It's the energy we're carrying. those need to be addressed. It's just not taking it out, right? So
Right.
if this resonates with you, you can go to my website, www.fibroidqueen.com. I have some, guides on there that you can download that may help you. Also, at Fibroid Queen on Instagram, I live there, um, and I do a lot of education there, and I would love to connect with you. I do have a community on Facebook where women just kind of share their journey and get tips on how to eat and move. And that is the Womb Wellness Community on Facebook. So I look forward to you. I hope this kind of gave you some takeaways. And Delian, I mean, I can't thank you enough for just bringing up to this.
No, thank you, thank you. And do you have a? I know sometimes you have a yoga class. Do you
Mhm.
have a yoga class coming? A womb wellness yoga class coming up that people can sample. I know you had one that probably passed. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
so I do spontaneously kind of do some workouts or yoga stuff on Instagram. But if you're looking for
Mhm.
more of a progressive regimen where you're getting new
Mhm.
workouts, things, definitely check out my programs. But yes, I do um, spontaneously, I'll get on and do like a workout or
Right,
something.
and so many tips. Like if you guys follow her on Instagram, she has so many tips already out there. But
Mhm.
when you want that personal, whole integrative functional approach, it takes some expertise. And I like that you're not doing this alone. You have a group, you have a team with you, and that's telling me that you are aware of the different layers, the different facets of this thing. And so knowing that it's not just something that you're going to do and you know it all. You know a lot and you are hands on, and then you have other people that can also come in and give even more tidbits, giving that support. And that's very important. So you really really do have this whole team integrative approach. Would you, when we are done, would you put all of your information in the comments on Facebook? That way, everybody can see how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. You got it.
Okay. Well, any last words for us? Anything that you want to leave with the viewers, encourage them, or anything, anything?
Yeah, I had to learn that the healing process takes some revealing. So, things that we've kind of buried emotionally, whether it was a tragic experience, a death, how are you feeling about that? Have you been able to move on? But somehow that may be creating stagnation in the body. So, really focusing on your emotional well being, taking time for yourself, and finding that special person that you can trust to talk to about things that you're going through. I think that's a start. So I just want to say that you're not alone, and there is women like you that are going through this. And if I've been able to get through this, so can you.
So can you. So can you. That's right. I like that. And Marlene said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this, Dalian. But I'll say thank you so much for this, Phyllis. Thank you for agreeing to come on. I'm the middleman. I'm just a channel. But thank you so much for all this information. And Marlene and others, everybody who has watched and who will watch later, happy healing. Happy healing. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. So don't forget, as we close, don't forget to subscribe. 39 down on YouTube. You can find me on Delian Bell on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm working on my Instagram presence. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, get your notifications on so that you don't miss when we have another interview. And Phyllis, thank you. Marlene said thank you. She will check you out. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for dropping all this knowledge and this wonderful presence and energy. And yeah, there is hope. It's a journey, but it's a happy, healing journey. All right. So on this note, this was 39 down, and I will see you guys next time.